Hey friend, John McLennan here, and if you're struggling getting started with your blues guitar solos and you really want to learn to play in the style of people like Eric Clapton, B.B. King, and Jimi Hendrix, then you're in the right place. And in today's video, I want to talk about 3 different levels of blues soloing. And the goal is to show you some simpler ways of getting started with blues soloing all the way up to some more advanced levels. So let's jump into it right away. We're in the key of B flat for today's video. We're going to be playing over a 12-bar blues. Now the first example I want to show you is using just strictly the blues scale. So I'm going to play a solo and I'm going to come up with some little lines and some melodies using only notes from the blues scale. Check it out. All right, so there I played just some simple melodies, and the idea was to stick to strictly the blues scale. So let me just review those notes for you here. We're playing on the 6th fret of the low E string, and we want to play these notes: 6, 9. Then we'll go to the A string, 6, 7, 8. Then the D string, 6, 8. G string, 6, 8, 9, B string, 6, 9, and E string, high E string, 6, 9. So those are the notes of the B flat blues scale, and before we go any further, I want to give you a gift that's really going to help you out with your soloing and learning exactly what we're talking about in today's video, which is how to improvise. I put together this awesome fretboard guide that shows you the 5 must-know chords and scales to map out your entire fretboard, just like what we're talking about. I want to give it to you completely for free. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide, and you can download it right there as my gift to you. This is going to be one of the most useful PDFs. It's just 1 page long, and it's going to show you how to connect and give you a framework for your entire guitar neck. So just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide. Again, it's completely for free. So hope you enjoy that. All right, so here we're in the key of B flat, and that is going to be our scale. So for your first exercise, you can practice playing over a blues progression or jamming along with your favorite recordings, and you want to use just strictly the notes in the blues scale as like an available pool of notes to choose from. And you might start very simple, right? Like just a couple notes, like simple melodies, and that's going to be a great way to get started. Now, there are a ton of famous blues musicians that only used this level here. They really just milked the blues scale and played it over and over in all their solos. But to go to level 2 from here, this is where you start to get into thinking more about nailing the changes. And here we're going to use something called the pentatonic scale, okay? So if you know your pentatonic scales, which again, you can learn this on my fretboard guide, but the idea is if we're in the key of B flat, we could have a B flat major pentatonic. And then when you go to the 4 chord, E flat, you could play E flat major pentatonic. And then when you go to the 5 chord, F, you could actually play F major pentatonic. So what you do is you just play the major pentatonic over each chord. And this is going to start sounding like you're nailing the changes. You're not just staying in one scale. As the chords shift, you're also shifting. So let me give you a simple way of approaching this. Let's say that we took that B flat chord and we just played these notes. So we're going to play the first 3 notes of the B flat major pentatonic. That's going to be the notes B flat, C, D. Okay, just. And then when we go to the E flat chord, we're gonna play the first 3 notes of the E flat major pentatonic, which would be the notes E flat, F, G. Okay, so we've got 1 chord, 4 chord, and then we can move this up for the 5 chord, 10, 8, 10 there, and that's gonna cover your 5 chord. So you've got those 3 chords. Now what we're gonna do is just solo with those notes, but we're gonna add one little bluesy inflection. Instead of this, we're gonna go and slide into the last note just for a little bit of blues character. So check out how this can sound over your 12-bar blues, just using those 3 notes, but now we're at level 2 and we're starting to nail those chord changes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord, back to 1. Stay here. 4 chord, back to 1. 5 chord up to the 10th fret, back down, back home, back up. So you can see how that starts to sound more like I'm playing the chord changes. And so that's the simple approach, is just take a couple notes from the scale and then move with the chords. So that's level 2. Now level 3 starts to get a little bit more advanced, and this is bringing in ideas like arpeggios and something I call chromaticism, which is where we're using kind of playing every single note in a row to get to certain notes in the arpeggio. So I'll give you an example of what that can sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here I'm thinking about a number of devices. So for example, on the first part I went, and that is part of a B flat chord there. Thinking about this again on the fretboard guide, you're gonna see these chords, and this is how you can kind of outline it. So there I'm getting that bluesy slide into the 5th of the chord. Then when it goes to E flat, use a little bit of the pentatonic there. And then resolve back to B flat. So da 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 da. See, the line sounds like it's changing with the chords, and that's the idea here. Now here's where I use some chromaticism. I went. Okay, so I'm trying to get to the 3rd of the E flat chord. And here I'm walking down 8, 7, 6, 5 on the 4th string. And then I jumped up and then back to B flat. So you can use all those little tensions, like you're stepping up and then you're resolving to the chord. And this is just a more advanced way of thinking about it. So from there, I went back to the 1 chord, and then I went like this, which goes to the F7. That's 6, 8, then 6, 6. Then I jump down. That's like blues scale there. Then from there, I resolved back to part of that B flat chord and then part of the F7 chord there. So I'm thinking about targeting certain notes and then just weaving in between those changes. So that's 3 levels that I want you to start thinking about for your blues solos. And again, it's not that one is better than the other. As I mentioned, there are tons of great blues solos that just use the blues scale. So you could play that till the end of time, or you can really start getting more advanced with it. So that's the idea with today's video, is to get you thinking about these different ways of improvising over the blues. And to help you put this together even more and give you a complete framework for the neck for these chords and scales, grab my fretboard guide. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide. It's completely free. It's going to show you the 5 chords and scales that I use to map out the entire fretboard. So hope you enjoy that as my gift to you. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the comments below. And for more blues guitar, check out this video next.